Hey, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Beautiful fall day here, about 80 degrees, nice big puffy clouds rolling through, all systems basically full early in the day. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to jump right back on this Voltgo 12.8 volt 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. It's been sitting here for the past couple of weeks. This is the full battery, and it is showing still 100% full, but I've been showing you guys on this little app that it has on a couple of shorts that it's actually down to about 97% full if we go to the app. But this gauge right here is not extremely accurate, but it is a good ballpark. So I mean, it's basically still a full battery, but a little less than 100% full. And then over here's the empty case. This one has no battery cells in it, and we used it just for demonstration purposes of how you can screw these together, anchor them down to the floor or wall. So I did have every intention today of doing a full discharge test on this, but my capacity meter was DOA, and I've got a new one coming, so we'll get to that at a different point. But it's time to take this off of where it's been sitting for a couple of weeks and get it up into production and start working it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide it in to this position. This is sitting at 100% full, and we still have some good sun going on today, so it won't take long to top off that Voltgo. And this is the system we're going to tie into that battery. We've got the Victron MPPT 100 volt 30 amp controller, and it has 500 watts of solar tied into it, and we've got the reliable 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter, and that's what that system looks like. So no, I'm 100% full here, as it shows right there, and this is 300 amp hours, so good time. Slide this one out, we can put it away for some backup if needed, and let's start working out that Voltgo. So I'm just going to quickly disconnect everything here to pull that battery out, and the first thing I'm going to do is shut those panels off, and we're just going to go ahead and interrupt it in its absorption phase. I mean, it's 100% full, and since it's just going to be sitting off to the side as a backup for a while, that red dodo, we're just going to shut this down just like that. You can see it immediately disconnected the MPPT. And then I'm going to come down here. Before I put a wrench on that battery, I'm going to disconnect my breaker here, and I've got another one right here. Okay, now I'm safe to go ahead and untie that and drop in the Voltgo. Okay, I pulled this out, and I'll just push this back in here, and since it's still on, before I hook it up, I'll go ahead and just turn the battery off before I connect it, and then I'll turn it back on. And the other thing I'm going to do is disconnect these big heavy-duty straps. They're great for carrying this battery, but I don't want them hooked up in here, just taking up the tight space that this is going to fit into. So I'll disconnect those and tie it up. Okay, that only took a minute, and I've got it tied in now. And of course, the way I had this thing configured was for a battery like this, where the terminals were on one end. So I had to drag the negative over the top, but that doesn't matter. This works and still fits into this space. And let's go ahead, flip the breakers on. And then we'll come up here, and I think I'll turn it on first. Reach right in here, because I did turn it off. There, it turned on. Came on. Of course, it was reading 100% full. I'll have to recalibrate that. And now let's put the 500 watts of solar back in there. And you see it's going to be in the bulk stage for a minute, and we'll take a look at the app real quick, see what it shows. Okay, so the first thing, we'll see what's coming in. 430 watts coming in off of a 500 watt array. The voltage should be pretty high already, and you can see, yeah, right away that battery is pretty full. 13.9 something right now, 14. So it'll quickly go into the absorption mode, which is set at 14.2, and that's not going to take it very long at this rate. But like I said, we started with a pretty full battery, but I just wanted to drop it into production. So that's what that says, 14.01 volts. So it's just going to be a few minutes before it kicks over into absorption. As you can see, it's dropping already. That's a cloud. Okay. And now here we're looking at the Voltgo app, and it does say 97% full and charging. 13.55 volts. 28.9 amps coming in. And let's look at the cells. The cells are reading up there at the top. I'm hoping you can read this. It's hard to tell on my little screen how focused I am, but they read 3.38, 3.39, pretty much straight across. The last three are 3.39. They're all 3.39 right now. So looking good. This will not take very long. We'll go back into here. So there is a little bit of a difference in that. I find that with any app or charge controller, you're always going to find a little bit of a difference in the voltage readings, but we know this is a full battery. It won't take very long. And I will just wait till this Victron finishes its charge off on this, and then I will tell this battery monitor, I'll go in and reset it to 200 amp hours instead of the 300 that it's set for now, so it knows. But I'll wait till it gets in the absorption phase at 14.2 volts, and then I will tell that at 200 amp hours that that is full. So right now, I mean, it is full, but I'll need to recalibrate this, and it'll just be a couple of pushes of those buttons to tell what size battery we're working with, and that it is also 100% full. And then this will be an accurate gauge of the drawdown. Like in the morning, I'll be able to look at it and see what percentile it's in, and that'll be pretty darn accurate. And while we're waiting for this to finish charging up, you can hear the fan in the background. That's on my 48 volt system, running a freezer, and that's why that's kicked on. It does that periodically. But while we're waiting for this to charge up, I'm gonna show you real quick how I can change the name. Up there I had it named Red Odo 300 amp hour. I'm gonna now change it down to change the name of this controller. And all you got to do is go into settings, and at the top right, click the three little dots, go to product info, and then where it says right here, the name, custom name, Red Odo 300 amp hour, you press the right edit button, and then press that, delete it out of there. And now I'm going to name it Voltgo, and I'm not even going to put in the parameters of the size, because that does not matter. It's just when I do a quick glance at this app, I'll know that this is the Voltgo battery now. Press OK. You can see it did change the name to Voltgo, and if we go back here, now up in that top left, it says Voltgo. So I always like to name my charge controllers for whatever I'm running on that, so at a quick glance wherever I'm at, and because I do run several of these charge controllers, I can just see very quickly which one I'm looking at. So there we are, 14, just over 14 volts, near 400 watts coming in. Gonna just let that go ahead and finish off. And I know a lot of you have been interested in this battery, as it's been commented on. Yeah, it's a little more spendy than a typical 12 volt 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. It does have some extra features. You know, it's got the Bluetooth, it's got this little battery monitor up here with a quick look at your gauge in case you didn't have a battery gauge like this on your system. I do like having these. These are very accurate, as is the Victron charge controller. These and the Victron line up completely. This is a little bit more of an estimated guide, those, you know, 4 LED lights to show you relative state of charge, but for exact, you want to have something like that on there. So like I said, I did want to do a full capacity test on this, but I'm waiting on a new discharge capacity tester, because the one that I showed you guys a few weeks ago was DOA. So I've got a new one coming, but in the meantime, I'm anxious to go ahead and start working this baby out, see how it produces. The minute it goes into its full charge here, I'm going to start using it in the system. And I'll do the discharge test after we've been running this for a while, but I just want to make sure it runs good with all the solar coming in. It's doing fine right now. I don't expect it to do other than just perfectly. And I think that might even be a better test, is I'll run this for a while, a couple of weeks. I'll let you guys know how it does, and we'll be able to go back and look on the log to see how it has behaved. And yeah, then we'll go from there. And then the next time I pull it off, when it's fully charged, we'll do a full capacity test. And then we'll be able to say that we were running it round the clock for a couple of weeks before we did that. So that might be a good test to do too. So yeah. And I think what I'll do when it's fully charged up is we'll just plug in that 20 cubic foot refrigerator freezer and let that run round the clock for a couple of weeks and see if it, I'm not worried about the battery. The only thing that might not keep up is the solar, depending on what kind of conditions we get. But if it's been anything like the last week or so out here, that'll drive that perfectly. Okay, I'm just sitting out here on the lanai right now, and I just wanted to show you one thing that some of you might not know. But right here, this second bar to the right, you can see that it was in absorption, and that was with that Red Odo battery. And the minute you disconnect the battery and slide another one in, it starts up a new charging cycle status bar. And right here is how much has gone in to that Voltgo, the furthest to the left there. And it might be hard to read because those numbers are so small. But anyway, so far it's pumped in 180 watt hours. And if we just go to the status real quick, this we'll be able to see still pumping 386 watts. It's just now clicked over into absorption, 14.2 volts. So now let's see if it's already registering on the history part of it. We should see a little lighter, like that, a lighter blue color start to pop in on there. It hasn't quite registered yet, but it is now in absorption. It's only been a few minutes since I was filming, showing you guys in the other room where it is, but there it is now, and it's just going to hold that 14.2 volts right there, and it's set for 2 hours. So anyway, I can go ahead now and call that 100% full. So maybe I'll just go in there and click that gauge over and reset it real quick and show you how that works, because we were pretty darn full before. But There it is, 14.2. And the Victron app just is a preset that I'm using, so the way it is 14.2, and then it'll hold that for 2 hours, and over the 2 hours it just takes less and less watts off the solar panel to hold it to there. And then by the time it goes into float, which basically will turn the panels off and just let the battery settle down to 13.5, unless there was a load to be turned on, then it would open up those panels to match the load and still hold it at the targeted voltage. So in case any of you didn't know exactly how that works, I hope I explained that good. Okay, so yeah, I can go ahead and reset that monitor here. Now I could, to be a little more specific, I could wait till this, you know, gets down way lower in wattage and then say okay, but I mean, we're probably only talking, you know, less than an amp hour. I really don't know, but I consider 14.2. If I hit 14.2, I've got a full battery, regardless of how long it was there. Okay. And it's just a few minutes later, and I'll show you that now it's only 130 watts being allowed in off that array to hold it at 14.2. And that's how it goes. It'll just keep dropping what it takes to hold it at 14.2. And it's just not taking much now, and that'll get down to basically 0 here pretty quick. So yeah, we did start with the full battery like I said though, so it's just about 100% done. And then, you know, like I said, now you can see that lighter shade of blue on the status bar, and that shows you now 220 watt hours have come into that battery, and just holding it in absorption. So that's what it looks like. And now that it's 100% full, I want to come in here to my battery monitor gauge and tell it now we're working with 200 amp hours instead of 3. So see if I can remember this. I think I just pushed the center one, scroll through, you can see 6.2 amps are coming in. Hit it again, it says 300 amp hour bank, and I will just go left, or maybe I have to hold that down a minute. There we go. Hold it down a minute. Now I can scroll with the left one. There we go, and hold it down to move fast. Going to drive it down to 200 amp hours. Right there, press set. Oh, go back down, set. There we go. Now it knows it has 200 amp hours and 100% full, and just hold that down, and that's it. So now it knows, this gauge right here knows that it's 100% full, 200 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. Of course, it doesn't know that it's lithium, but the Victron charge controller does, because we're using the preset lithium iron phosphate for charging parameters on the Victron. So this works really well with the Victron. So yeah, that's how you do that. Try and keep the glare off for you guys, but 200 amp hours. Now when I get down or wake up in the morning after I've been running this all night, we'll see how many amp hours it's taken off of this, and we will also see at what percentage we are. And typically running that refrigerator, it'll cycle on a 200 amp hour battery such as this. It'll probably be down near 75-80%, something like that. Usually it goes 20-25% overnight, and then charges right back up in the day. So that's all you got to do to recalibrate one of these. And why I like these is you can just be passing through the room and just take a quick glance and see where you're at. You don't even need to look at the app. And to show you what a treat it is to be running with all systems full, this is what's currently running the refrigerator at 600 amp hours worth of chins, 99.4% full, finishing off absorption. So got an excess of power, which is the way I like it. So I will just simply unplug this 20 cubic foot refrigerator freezer, which I've showed you guys many times. It's just a fabulous workhorse. It's probably 84 degrees in the house right now, so a little warm. So it cycles on a little bit more often in the heat, but it really doesn't hit the solar system that hard. And because that back system I have hardwired throughout the house, I'll just simply unplug this and plug that plug the refrigerator right into that Voltgo system, and we're gonna let that run. And I'll be back, you know, in a week or two and be able to show you the log on that. And then the other day I misspoke, but this is what we've got, the 48 volt running right now. All systems are full, an abundance of power in the fall. Pretty happy. And in the meantime, making some reverse osmosis water for the household use. And then be about time to eat. So pretty nice day out here. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you know, when I get a battery sent out to me, I like to work it over time in many different ways and show you guys how it behaves, how it operates, if there's ever any problem, which, as you know, I really never find a problem with these components of the solar systems out here. They all work pretty good. And because I always want something, now I just want a little bit of rain. We're getting plenty of solar, even on these shorter days. But can't complain. Beautiful day. And I do like seeing the batteries full. All right, you guys. Catch you on the next one. Aloha. Be good out there now. And just because I signed off doesn't necessarily mean that that's the end of everything. So here's what I was saying. I got to come in here and eat. It's not completely put together, but look at the ingredients. Got some sliced almonds, some eggs, some bacon, onions, chives, purple onions, more eggs. And for those of you that are willing to venture a guess at what this is going to be, whoever guesses or is the closest to what this is going to turn into, I've got a free gift I'll send your way, and it will be solar related. See, you shouldn't assume that I said goodbye, that that's the end. So congratulations to all of those that made it this far. Tell me what this is going to be. Whoever guesses it, and if someone gets it nailed on the head, you're going to get a very special prize. But the closest to what this is going to be, you're still going to get something I think you'll like. Okay, I'm going to give you one more clue. I think this is going to make it too easy, so I'll say whoever guesses first is going to be the winner, because this is going to give it away. And that's the bacon grease, which will be part of it. Okay, I think I made it too easy now. First one chimes in with the answer to what is for dinner tonight. You win. Aloha.